Hello, 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 hello. Hi, guys. I want to say hi, guys. Hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Talk Thursdays. I'm Iza Calzado, one of the co-founders of She Talks Asia, and I am so thrilled to be connecting with all of you tonight. There are currently 19 people watching this live stream, and as some of you may know, or maybe all of you know, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and in line with that, my partners asked me if I could do Talk Thursdays regarding with a topic around mental health, because it's something that's very, very close to me, to my heart. This advocacy is very close to my heart, and I just want to say hi to everybody here. I want to check in. How are you all doing? And I hope that you find yourselves inspired by the conversation that's about to take place tonight. Joining me tonight is a woman, beautiful soul. I don't even want to put a gender here, but obviously this is She Talks Asia, and we celebrate being women and our power and how amazing we all are. But so tonight, this incredible, beautiful soul is joining me. I first met her when we did the shoot for Body Love Revolution in 2018, I think. I remember we asked for quotes, and I remember she said, "I love my body because it is my home." So and she really made so much sense. It really made sense to everyone who watched that video. And I know that she's here again. She's here already. So I asked her how she wanted me to introduce her tonight, and she said, just say that I am the happiness doctor. And I think that already sets the tone for what kind of conversation we will be having tonight. So without further ado, let me bring here on stage Dr. Lia Bernardo. Hi, Leah. Are you here? Sorry, this is my first time to host an IG live, so I'm feeling my way through it. Oh, there you are. Hi, Leah.
Hi, Isa. I'm
Hi.
so happy to be here. Hello from Baguio.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm making my way there. Wait lang. Oh,
Sure.
wow. You're still there. You're still in Baguio.
Yes. So I've made this my second home because of this whole pandemic, and it's been the best decision I've ever made.
Yeah, good for you, Leah. Thank
And you
you.
look
Thank you.
absolutely gorgeous. So happy
Thank
to be here.
Thank you, and so do you. I have to say that it's a lot of it is thanks to this amazing light that I have. So light is the key to success.
I
But I will
agree.
take it. Let's not
Yes,
downplay, diba? We both look good. Thank you. We're in great health.
exactly.
Thank you, Lord. Um, so Leah, thank you so much for joining us tonight. This is just a quick chikahan, nothing too
Yes,
formal. You know,
exactly.
yeah, and I've always, kung nga always parang ang tagal na, but ever since I met you in 2018, um, when you took part in our Body Love Revolution project, I always kind of felt connected to you, even if we haven't even had formal healing sessions, which I've been wanting to do
Yes.
with you. Um, you know, I, I, I I remember when you said, my body is my home, and sobrang naiiyak talaga ako na sinabi mo yun. Kasi totoo this is our home. So, we have to love our home, di ba? And
Exactly.
I remember also one thing, we asked Bel Daza to share some tips, I think, for
Mm,
Talk Thursdays also. I think it was last year, beginning of the pandemic. And I know that she said she learned this from you. Like, do these things Like move, learn,
Mm.
grow, create, connect. And then you feel like you're thriving. Diba?
Absolutely. And that's the formula. That's the
That's the
formula,
formula.
folks. That's it.
Yeah, and so I've been, without you knowing this, I really took that, and I've been, in even in my journal, I remind myself to do, if not one, all of those things to make me feel like I'm
Yes.
thriving. And so tonight, I want us to talk about something that, you brought this up, thriving. A lot of people during this time might even feel guilty by saying that they're thriving, because a lot are
Mm.
just not even surviving, diba? So thriving might make them feel like they're being selfish, by choosing themselves. And so this is a topic that you wanted to talk about tonight, and I think resonates with me and hopefully a lot of people here tonight. Please do, let's talk about that, because you're in the space of healing, so you handle a lot of people who are seeking help. So please
Yes.
talk about or share with us, the, why this topic is something that you wanted to talk about tonight.
I'm I'm so grateful to have a platform with you to be able to talk about this because I get this comment a lot. How do I choose myself? Because I've been coming out lately with advice saying choose yourself. And when people ask, how do I love myself? How do I choose myself? Isn't that selfish? Exactly what you said. I need to make a very important point here, folks, is that we need to get out of the mindset that taking care of ourselves first is selfish. Because let me use this overused comparison of the oxygen mask on a plane.
I was gonna say
But it just works, right?
it
Because
works.
what do they teach us? If you're traveling with a child, put on your mask first because you cannot help the child if you can't breathe. So you have to put on your mask first. That way you can attend to the child. And that's exactly what self-love is. You cannot give what you don't have. And I have been talking about this since day one of the lockdown because I knew people would go down that rabbit hole really quickly because of the fact that we were all in isolation. And and it's so important because every person on the planet right now, if you ask them what's the one thing you want, everyone will unanimously say, I want to be happy. And yet, when you tell them that the only way to be happy is to choose themselves, I draw blank. I draw complete blank. And when I say the words self love, oh, that even draws an even bigger blank because it's
Really?
so alien. Yes, and it's alien to most people. And yet now, in this, because of circumstances, people have been quote unquote forced to really spend time with themselves and look at themselves, not to change themselves or not even to fix themselves, but to like who they are. It's not a question of fixing yourself, right? It's about
Acceptance.
liking who you are. Because how are you supposed to accept the people around you if you can't even accept who you are? It doesn't make sense. And yes, you can't pour from an empty cup. Absolutely. And it's that. So how can that be selfish when our natural tendency, well, what makes people happy is the quality of their relationships, correct? And and so what will determine the quality of your relationship? Your relationship with yourself. So how in the world can that be selfish? So when we say choose yourself, what we're saying is fill your cup first so that you're not thirsty when you're giving away the water. Because if you're dying and somebody comes to you asking for water, really, will you give it all up? chances are you won't, because you're going to want to survive yourself. So you'll say, okay, take a little sip. And so why don't you just make your cup overflow so you can give as much of the excess away? Sorry, that was a long answer to a short
Oh,
question, but I think
please,
it's
you
like
are my
so
guest. I am here
important.
to listen. We are here to
So
listen and
important.
learn. Yeah,
Thank
I
you. Thank
understand you,
you.
Leah. I am currently on a journey to really, you know, loving myself, and you feel like, oh, with body love I've accepted myself, and every day it's a challenge. It's not like oh,
Hmm.
I've accepted myself.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
it's a, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a journey, and it's
Absolutely. And it's a
sometimes you
journey
feel
that's
like
going to
there's
be forever.
forever, diba? Like, the reason why we talk about this is we know that it doesn't end just when you have that eureka moment. It's the
No,
work is it's
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 constant.
forever, yes, it's
It's
constant,
constant.
but that is how we are, and that is what human beings were made to do. It's to constantly evolve, diba? And in our evolution,
Absolutely.
yeah, in our evolution, we learn and discover our true selves as time
There you
goes
go.
by.
There you
Yeah,
go. Couldn't have
yeah,
said it better. That's
yeah.
absolutely well said. Yes.
Thank you. And I've been working a lot on myself. I finally had that time to pause, and I've been meditating a lot, and even just recognizing this whole self love, because you said earlier, diba? Let your cup overflow. I think, yes, a friend of mine told me this, because I have areas that I'm working on that I
We
will
all
not
do.
dive in today. But yung parang question is, where is the source of that cup coming from? Is it always from external validation and things like fear?
Hmm.
It could also be problematic. So that's why choosing yourself and filling the cup with your, like, on your own is, I think, very important.
Absolutely. Because it's never in the externals. Never,
Yeah.
ever. So no matter how, I've noticed too that the people that are not happy are those that are focused on the externals. Like they can't wait for that house. They can't wait for that car. They can't wait for the kids to finish college. I mean, there's always some external factor towards their happiness. Um, and then there's a lot of guilt, as you were saying earlier, towards
Mm.
being happy. And so my advice is always you need to water this plant so that this plant is thriving and this plant is healthy and this plant is nurtured, regardless of what's going on in the externals, which you can empathize with, but you have zero control over.
I
And right? Because yes, I can empathize that there are people that have lost their jobs, and I help in whatever way I can, but I can't solve the problems of the world, and neither can you. But we do whatever we can on our side of the fence, on our own backyard. And if all of us just work on ourselves and our side of the fence, then everybody contributes to that, and that grows exponentially, as opposed to being so external of, we need to save the planet. Yes, we do, but what are you doing in your home to save the planet? Because we can't save the earth just by saying we want to save the earth. It's the same as ourselves and our relationships with others. We work on our side of the fence because we have zero control over how another person is going to react or respond to us.
Yeah, and it's a big task. You're like, you alone cannot do these things, but you can change. I mean, not
Yourself.
change. I mean, did he say about be the change you wish in the world?
Enhance.
You
Yes,
can
yes,
enhance.
exactly.
You can work on you, and you said earlier, no, parang ako kasi like one thing that we've learned, like, why is it important to take care of yourself? It's because when we connect with others, we are coming from our heart. It's a heart to heart connection, and that's when impact or positive impact
Yes.
happens. And that's why it's so
Ah, very good
important,
point.
diba? Like, like how do, if you're not, if you don't love yourself, you build walls, your own
Yes.
walls. So how do you connect with others? By doing, by when you have these
By
walls.
being authentic, because that positive impact will only happen when you're coming from your authenticity. If you're
Mm-hmm.
wearing a mask and you're trying to have people like you, people are going to smell that a mile away. They go up. We need to give people more credit that they can spot an act a mile away. And so when you are playing a role, when you are wearing a mask, you will not touch people the same way as your authenticity does, because in being in your authenticity, you give permission to people to also be in theirs.
Yes, and that it is
And
okay.
and it's okay to be
Really?
real. We should be real. We ought to be real. Like, I'm going to make mistakes, you're going to make mistakes, but if we project that only you make the mistakes, then this friendship isn't going to go anywhere,
Anyway,
right?
or
And so that impact you want to create, you need to create that within yourself first, because frequency will not lie. You will introduce yourself way before you can even say hi, because people
because
will
it's
feel
energy.
you.
Exactly.
Yes, that's exactly
We're
what it
so aligned.
is.
Can we go like that?
You're like that.
You know, you know, as we're talking right now, I can see that people are commenting because there's somebody
Mm,
watching who's giving very negative frequency and feedback. And these are the things that I won't even say the name right now, but I can see the comment. And when I see people who do this, the first instinct, of course, is like, wait, whoa, why is this person doing that? And you watching this, sending negative comments, I wish you peace, my friend. I wish you happiness and I wish you joy, because you must be coming from a place of lack for you to say that. And I only hope and wish that I can hug you, because like, I don't know what it is that you're going through, but whatever it is, I hope that you receive what you need, diba?
mm.
Like, yeah, that's really it. And I can't even, I don't even hate the person. I'm not offended. When people do that, um, I really wish I could connect with these people, because, but again, of course, I can't save the world. But it's
Yes.
funny that when we're talking about this, somebody gives us a perfect and clear example of
Yes,
frequencies,
because
I guess.
you'll find that people will only ever treat you the way they treat themselves.
Yeah.
Because it's the only way we know how to treat people, the way we treat ourselves. So this is
Yeah.
why we ought to be treating ourselves well. And and at the same time, you know, I think being free from the opinion of others
Mm.
is really the most important
Yeah.
gift you can give, we can give to ourselves. And and that when somebody's opinion matters to you, that's because you love that person and you've allowed that person into your space. And
Yeah.
so
And
there
you,
are, you know,
sorry, and you said this, sorry to cut you. So you said this earlier,
yeah.
diba? Parang, and this is also something I'm really trying to train myself, because I'm highly reactive, especially at,
Mm,
I used to be, especially, but now it's the power of the pause and really being mindful. But also, as you said, we can't change people. We can't change
Yes,
situations, but I really think that we are in full control of how we receive the words, the experience, the actions, right? Our thoughts and our actions we have full control
absolutely.
of.
And we have full control on who's allowed in our spaces and who's not.
Yeah. Yeah. Amen.
And that's a thing I'd really like to maybe we can speak about is that whole concept of
Boundaries.
creating boundaries. Yes. Right? That not everybody is welcome into your space.
Amen. But easier said than done. I mean, come on. Like we do a live, somebody watches, and they're
Oh
like,
yeah,
"But
but
you're live."
that's
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 different.
that's a live. Yeah, but
Yeah.
in your personal space, I mean, if you
Yeah.
do a live, you sort of like, you know, just let that go because what we focus on are the people we're helping, not the people who are heckling. But those
But you know
who,
that the hecklers might also need a love bombing. So we send them good energy
but
as
not
well
from you, not from you,
from
and
themselves.
from themselves. They need
That's
to
true.
find that in themselves. But because
Amen.
no amount of love from you is going to make them love themselves.
That's true. And no amount of love from from another human being
From
would
another
make me
human
love
being.
me.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
very guilty of this, Leah. I have to say that, now that I'm working on my constant need for external validation and the self-worth and the self-love issues, no? Parang I've realized all these years I've been trying to escape, escape, escape. Like always going out when I was younger,
Hmm.
watching films, music. And I realize now I have to be at peace with myself. And it's only when in that stillness, that's why meditation is so helpful and so important. And even when you meditate, you have thoughts. And even with that, I have to tell myself it's okay when I have thoughts. I have to forgive myself when I have these thoughts. But even just to sit still and be okay with me, it's hard, Leah. It's
Yeah, it
hard. Diba?
is. It's
to
not
be
easy.
to be
It's
in a
not
room for
easy.
like no, to be okay with you.
It's
But
not
that's where we
easy.
need to be.
Yeah, exactly. And you make it non-negotiable with yourself because your brain is going to find all sorts of excuses not to go there. And then it's going to go outward. And then it's going to make you project to the people closest to you, your spouse, your children, your friends, your colleagues, everyone that's around you will be the recipient of that projection if you don't take care of your internal. When I say yours, just I'm not pertaining to you,
Yeah.
but just as a general thing.
General.
And it's
Ourselves.
yes, and it's like long and short of it is we got to turn that camera inwards without trying to fix, but with the objective to like, appreciate, be grateful for, and to befriend the self.
And when you say self, not just the things you like about yourself, even those things that you don't like about yourself, which is
Even
part
those things,
the
especially
shadows.
those things, especially those things, because may tao bang hindi nagagalit? Wala, right? And yet everybody seems to think that anger is a bad thing. Whereas I'm going to ask everyone watching now, every single time you've gotten angry, it's because your boundaries were violated. You were violated in one way or form. So how can anger be bad? Anger is telling you to stand up for yourself or to draw a boundary or to say stop or to say no more. So why would you classify that as bad? Now, acting on the anger is a different story. Lashing out because That's a really cute reaction.
What?
Yeah, but this is where
I know.
responsibility comes in.
Comes in.
So
I
when you're
understand.
angry, this is a good tip. When you're angry, rather than asking why am I angry, because the minute you say why, you'll really lash out at the person, or just say what is needed here?
Mm.
What is needed here? I'm angry, so what is needed here? And
Love
most of the
that.
time, the answer is I need to draw a boundary. I need to express that this is unacceptable, right? But then we're scared to speak up. We're scared to say, hey, you violated a boundary. You didn't respect me. I didn't feel honored when you said that or when you did that. And yet, when you tell that to people, they'll say, yeah, but you did this. Or, yeah, but you're being like this. Or and that causes relationships that could have been something to break up or to end or to just dissolve because people can't take accountability for their state of being. So there's
And
so many
accountability is
reasons.
so important.
Oh,
But ego gets in the way.
all the time, all the
Ikaw si ego eh.
time.
Hello, ego. Saan na tayo? Ego mo na nga yan. Like, less ego. So really,
All the
it's all
time.
the time. But everybody just wants to be loved. No? And a lot of our
Make you
actions,
unlovable.
that too. But that's true. As my husband would probably agree with that
No.
statement. No, but then, di ba, a lot of the things actually that we do, even the harmful things, stem from love or lack of yung, it's like love for
It's
money, greed, love for ganyan. I mean, and this is why self-love is so important, I guess, also, is finding out what the right kind of love is. Tama ba to? Do?
okay. Let's make
Is
that
that,
himay. Let's make
oh,
that himay
is there a
first.
right kind of love? This is just,
No,
tanong ito.
the only right kind of love
Mm.
is the unconditional love that you give to yourself. I think let's start there. Okay? Because when we act out from our lack or when we act out from our external needs to be accepted and validated by another, okay, we will lash out on the people that love us. Okay? Now, I want to make something very, very clear. When you are lashing out or when you are saying that something is unacceptable because it is in violation of your self-respect and your self-honor, do it. Okay? Be assertive enough to draw that boundary. But if it's because of any other thing, like it's the person's gale or it's a person's habit, you know what I'm saying? If it's not a violation of
Your personal
yourself,
space. Yeah, obviously.
yes, there needs to be a certain degree of tolerance and a certain degree of acceptance. However, that will not happen unless you have that for you. Think about it. How are you going to treat another person that way if you're not doing that for yourself? Doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
And again, I'm going to say this again because there are a lot of people in abusive relationships that can misinterpret what I'm saying into unconditional love for somebody who's abusing you or who's making you not feel good about yourself or who's not honoring you or even disrespecting you. That's a different story. We're talking about everyday habits, everyday actions, little irritations that should not hinder a relationship, but does because of lack of self-love. There you go. That's
I think
clearly
that's
stated.
clearly stated. It cannot be misconstrued. We have to clarify kasi nga naman, 'di ba?
Yes,
People might take it a different way. But
yes.
I really wanted um maybe to ask you for some tips
Mm,
on how to choose oneself, and or like to love oneself, not only during a pandemic, but
yes.
in life.
Every
I mean,
day.
every day, actionable tips, because this is, like when I learned that move, learn, grow, create, connect, that's to me something that made total sense, actionable. So I'd love to hear more tips from you, Leah, that, and I'm sure our audience right now um, will really get a lot from you, and it will really help a lot of people, including myself, during these times and beyond.
The first thing I want to say is this. I'm going to give you something that's so simple, but you're going to have your meaning. Again, people who are watching and people that you will share this with. It's going to be difficult. It's so simple, but it's going to be difficult if you haven't done so already. It's make it a practice before you go to sleep at night to ask yourself, what do I like about myself today? Because you notice before you sleep at night, that's when you run. I shouldn't have said this, shouldn't have done that, I should have done this differently. And you recount all the negativity that's happening, that has happened, or that is happening to you right then and there. And so what happens is you go to sleep and a very powerful subconscious response happens, which is called imprinting. And it happens to every single brain on any single human being. There are no exceptions. And so whatever you're thinking of right before you sleep gets imprinted in your brain and in your subconscious for the duration of your sleep. And so if you're thinking, I shouldn't have done this, I should have worn this instead, I should have said that, you're just validating to yourself that you're not enough. So before sleeping, make it a habit to say, okay, what do I like about me today? And put your hand on your heart so that the heart center, which is the thymus gland, it's not the physical heart. And and tell yourself, I like you today because you made the guards smile. Or you told the girl who gave you who took your blood, thank you, because it didn't hurt. And that smile on her face made her so happy. You know, what did you do today that I know someone, and she's here now, where she actually called up the delivery person and to say, thank you for being so nice to me when you delivered my food today. I really appreciate that. And those little things will make you feel good about yourself. Or when somebody randomly just smiled at me, and that made me feel good about myself. Little things. And I'm choosing very mundane topics simply because it doesn't have to be because you donated X amount to a charity or whatever. It doesn't have to be that. It can be the little things that or you like. I like myself today because I stayed an extra 10 minutes in the shower and just let the hot water run through me. It's one way of liking yourself today. Or I like myself today because I ate pizza and I wasn't guilty.
Leah, sorry, may I just say, what you just shared hit very close to home. I actually medyo naiyak ko. I had to hold back tears because I just realized, I mean, I know that we tend to be very hard on ourselves. It's
Mm,
bad. That's why
mm,
self love is so important. Um,
mm.
that's right. We don't give ourselves enough credit.
Yes.
Yeah. Because before going to bed, Ben and I, my husband and I, we say things that we're grateful for, that happened in the day,
Mm.
or people that we're
Oh,
grateful
that's a
for.
good,
Diba? It's a good practice. Um,
excellent.
and but you don't say that I'm grateful because I did this, because you feel like it's being self-centered, right?
Yeah.
But you and I'm a firm believer that our purpose is found, or can be found, not just in the big things like you said, donating money or doing these grand things, but in the small, tiny,
That's it.
impactful, meaningful
That's
moments.
it.
Yeah,
Yes.
and so pat yourself on the back and said, today I served my purpose here on earth because I did
Yes.
this, I did that. I like
Mm-hmm.
myself more because I did this, I did that. That's really powerful, Leah. Thank you. Ah!
I
Yeah.
love your reactions.
No, naiiyak ako. Yung gusto ko, ba't ka na, alis lang ako, mag-walling lang ako ng very, very light. Because I just, we don't give ourselves enough
We
credit.
don't. We really don't. And we
Like,
ought to. And what you said about being self-centered, my teacher always told me this. He always said, think of yourself as self-full, not as selfish, because the word selfish has gotten such a bad rap.
yeah,
So let's not even go there, and let's stop convincing people that they're not being selfish. Why don't we just say, what did you do today to fill yourself? So, what did you do today to be self-full?
I like self-full. I like it. It makes me
Yeah.
happy. I
And
mean,
that's
diba?
from
I
Dr.
mean,
Colby Foreman. Yes.
yeah, if you guys, if self-full also speaks to you, drop hearts here in the comment section, or just, yeah, and I see people are liking it, right? Like, self-full. I'm self-full.
Hmm.
I'm not selfish. You're right, because it has gotten such a negative connotation that
Exactly.
people just kind of just by the mere mention of it. So yeah, I'm self-full. Self-full.
I'm self-full.
I love it. Thank you, Leah. And are there any other tips, or are you leaving us with that one
let's
amazing one?
let's let's do one more, and
Okay.
I tell all my patients to do this on the first session. So first thing you do when you see yourself in the mirror in the morning, this is the first place we go to, right? The bathroom. And we go in the mirror, and the first thing we do is criticize the way we look, because it's first thing in the morning. So instead of saying something negative to yourself about the way you look at yourself in the eye, in the mirror, and say, I am enough. And make it
I
a habit to say that every day, whether you believe it or not.
mm,
Because the mere fact that you're saying it every day in front of the mirror and looking into your own eyes, you're talking to your soul, and you're changing neural pathways in your brain. So eventually you will
neuroplasticity.
believe it. Yes.
I love that. I am enough is really an affirmation that has helped me and so many others
Mm.
in this journey. I must say, I don't practice exactly what you said every day, and I'm gonna do that. I learned that today. Like, look at myself in the mirror, in my eyes.
Yeah.
Don't look at other things, because you're gonna wander
You're
and
going
you're
to
gonna
see other
criticize.
things.
Buff enough, then blah blah blah.
My hair's this
Just your
big.
eyes. I am enough.
There you go.
Diba? That's powerful practice, and it creates a habit, and
Yes.
you
And
you
more and the more you say it, you will believe it, because that's how we change beliefs, through repetition and through positive statements.
I love that.
So I think you guys will be okay with that. Just do those three things and you'll be fine. And
Very
that's all you really
practical
need
tip.
to do. Yeah, because it's simple. The subconscious mind is so simple. It's not complicated. It's the conscious mind. It's the logical mind that's extremely complicated. So we like complicating things as human beings, when in fact unconscious mind is very uncomplicated. Think of it as a 2-year-old child. How would you communicate with a 2-year-old child? That's how the subconscious mind works.
How would you communicate? Very simply and full of love.
There
That's how
you
you would.
go.
Yeah.
That's how we should communicate to ourselves.
So thank you, Leah. And for those who just tuned
Well,
in,
thank you, Isa.
Leah Bernardo, the happiness doctor, shared with us 3 very practical tips on how we can love ourselves, to practice self-love. And number 1 is, before going to bed, let us think about things that we like about ourselves, or things we did good. Basically, recollect moments wherein we felt good about ourselves that day. May it be big things like I donated cash or whatever, but more importantly, the small things like I watered the plant today. Um, like you said, I scrubbed myself today. I painted my nails, so little things like that. Or for me, maybe it's like I worked out today, or I watched a movie today, and I like myself for that, because I gave myself that time to enjoy something. And I think that's very important. And of course, doing things for others, like I helped an old lady cross the street, I smiled at a stranger, um, or I said hi and kinumusta ko ang isang
Mhm.
kaibigan ko. And it turns out that person was feeling low. And that happens, ah. So I really think, when we think of somebody, reach out, because that's energy
Yes.
telling you to reach out to that
Yes.
person as well. Yeah, easier said than done, diba? Sometimes, like, the moment passes and you forget. But yeah, that's something I learned as well. And you said, like, we'll call ourselves self-full, not selfish. These acts are self-full. So love ourselves because it is a self-full act. And lastly, when we wake up in the morning, actually, this should have been the first thing before pala going to bed. But anyway, you guys can rearrange that na lang in your lives, ha? First thing in the morning, when we wake up, go to the mirror, look at ourselves in the mirror, straight into our eyes, and say, I am enough. Because truly, you are, I am, we are enough.
Oh, beautifully said.
Thank you so much for this time, Leah. I also want to promote that Leah will be having a self-love retreat soon. So please follow Leah. Leah, would you like to share with them your Instagram page right now, and any details, anything that's coming up for you, any workshops or
Sure.
anything, please.
My Instagram is at Lia Bernardo, and at Atma Wellbeing Group. And we are running the last of our body love workshops. So it's on sensuality. And so it's you can take it. Why don't you come as our guest, Isa? I would love to have you there.
When is it?
And it's on June 4.
Oh, if I'm free, I'll be
I'll
there,
send
because
you the
definitely,
details. Yes. Yeah, I'd
yeah,
love to
as
have you
women, we
there.
should
And it's about
celebrate our sensuality.
absolutely, there you go. And we're
But
doing a retreat
sensuality
in El
nag-post.
Nido. Siyempre. Our El Nido retreat, I think it's on the 27th. The date escapes me, but it's on my Instagram stories. And we're doing 8 days in El Nido, and it's about reframing your past by rewriting your story so that you could be the hero of your own story. And it's 8 days because it comes with all the other tours and all the other island experiences. So that I'm totally looking forward to, because I think El Nido is magical and it's absolutely healing. And it's the first time we're doing this, so we're offering it at an introductory price. And so those are the two things going on. Plus, we're doing an online retreat on manifesting your dreams and realizing your dreams by Nathan Alba. Yes, so that's
When
happening
is
quite
this?
soon. So, I'm so bad at dates. So,
Just check out her page. Just check
yes,
out Leah's
thank
page
you.
and you'll see the details there. But Leah, you are doing so much and helping so much. We all need
Thank you.
teachers. You're a teacher, you're a mentor, you're a guiding light.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
and
That
thank
means
you
a lot. Thank you.
thank you for creating this light. And I look forward to connecting with you more. Thank you again for being on She Talks Asia Talk Thursdays and imparting such practical and really amazing tips on how to love ourselves more. So until the next one, love and light to you, my friend.
Thank you so much, Isa. Thanks for having me. And to the She Talks Asia team, thank you so much for having me. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody, to everyone that tuned in tonight. Thank you. And we hope that you learned a lot from this conversation. Until the next one, good night, guys. Or girls, ladies. Bye. That was beautiful, wasn't it? Until the next time, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you.